Self-love is truly knowing who you are at the core and loving that person. Loving all her flaws, loving all her fears, showing up for her authentically. That is self-love. Hello, beautifuls. My name is Giselle, co-host of the Strong Sunflowers podcast and founder of G is for Growth and creator of Create, the app. You should totally go check it out. It should be dropping soon. So I'm so excited. You guys, you know what? I'm just gonna be dropping hints all throughout, and yeah, just follow, like, share, subscribe, because baby, it's going down. It's going down. But today we're gonna talk about 5 tips to becoming a strong ass sunflower. If you are not subscribed to the podcast, follow us on Spotify, follow us on Apple Podcasts, because baby, we be bringing fire. And today I'm gonna tell you the 5 tips to becoming a strong ass sunflower. If that's something you're into, keep watching. We're all about self-love, self-growth here. And G is for Growth started from the Strong Sunflowers podcast. So this is a podcast that myself and my friend Xana started in about 2021. And the idea started because Xana and I worked in the primary at the Mormon church. And I was the president of the primary. I was like 19 at the time. I had just gotten married. I was a baby. And Xana was like, hi. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love your energy. Like, yes. And she was in the primary as well. And for the most part, churches are male dominated, and we were in a position of power. I was the primary president and she was my counselor. And sometimes we would show up into spaces, into rooms and meetings with the bishop or whatever, and we would have things to say and be automatically shut down. It's like, oh no, we don't do things that way. Oh no, we can't do that. Oh no, we can support X, Y, and Z. And there was a time that I was like, again, mind you, 19-year-old Giselle, Lord, thank you for always keeping me spicy. I love you. Thank you. But 19-year-old Giselle was like, hey, I'm tired of us being quiet in these rooms because we're women. Like, we have to go in there and be strong sunflowers. And you picture a sunflower, bold, bright, in your face. The sunflower follows the sun. The sunflower does not take shit for nobody. The sunflower does not bend or kneel. The sunflower is just a sunflower, baby. I'm just gonna be. I can't be anything less than what I am and who I am. So this was like our little motivation. Every time we would go in a room or one of my counselors and I wasn't there, I'm like, you go in there and you be a strong sunflower. And this analogy kind of like just went into every aspect of our lives. Like whenever we had hard conversations to have, or something was going on at work, or we had a hard task, it's like, hey, you are a strong sunflower. You are capable of doing whatever you say you want to do. And then Xana started to get her master's at UF and in communications. And she was like, hey, I'm taking this podcasting class. The teacher's saying I need to make a real podcast. And the number one thing that I thought was calling it the Strong Sunflowers. And I don't want to start this without you, because the Strong Sunflowers is G and Z. This saying is really what motivated me to be more authentically me and to show up and take space. And I was like, you know me, I'm like, hell yeah, sign me up. Let's do this. And that was 2021. We just celebrated 3 years in Austin, Texas with our Love Your Body retreat. But that's crazy. It's been 3 years. I always joke that like the podcast has been the most stable thing that I've done in the last 3 years since my divorce. It's my longest lasting relationship thus far. So kudos to me. Kudos to me. Healthy relationship. But yeah, so this is the background story of where it all started from. And then when we were creating the content for the podcast, we were like, this is one of the sections that came up. So tip number 1 to becoming a strong ass sunflower. You need to know the difference between self-love and self-care. A lot of people think that they're doing self-love, but they're really doing self-care. I'm gonna go more in depth because I'm gonna do a video for each of the tips. Self-care is when you go get your nails done, you get a massage, you get your hair done. All of these things are self-care. You sleep when you're tired, that's self-care. You eat good food, that's self-care. You're caring for your body. But self-love is deeper than that. Self-love is truly loving yourself no matter what and no matter where you are in that moment in time. You can be 200 pounds and still have so much self-love for yourself, even though you're not where you want to be. And you can be 100 pounds and still love that same body, because the love that you have is not dependent on the outside. And a lot of the self-care things that we do is on the outside. Self-love is truly knowing who you are at the core and loving that person. Loving all her flaws, loving all her fears, showing up for her authentically. That is self-love. One of the biggest things for me when we did this tip came from a podcast episode that we did with Tiffany. Shout out to Tiffany, we love you. And she told us a little bit of the difference between self-love and self-care. I'm gonna put the links of all the episodes below so you can go check them out. But when she talked about the differences, I was shooketh, because it really triggered something in me. At that time when we interviewed her, I had gone through a separation. I wasn't fully divorced yet. And you know when you're like going through a hard time and you're like, oh my gosh, my world is falling apart. I'm gonna cut or dye my hair. And that was me. I was like, I wanna fucking buzz cut Britney Spears this hair off. Like, I just felt so weighted. And I went and did the big shop. And doing the big shop was the best thing that I could have done for my mental health. At the time, self-love, right? And at first I remember some people are like, oh, I don't like women with short hair. Like, that's not attractive to me. And I'm just like remembering, like, I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for me. And then when we did the interview, it really hit me like, damn, back in the day when I'm originally from Cuba. So when I would go to the Dominican salons to get my Dominican blowout, I remember I would say like comments like, oh, I need you to get rid of all my African roots. I need, so I went into the salon not just to get my hair done. I went to the salon because I fucking hated my black roots. I said it. And it wasn't that I was aware of it, because especially in the Latin community, there's a lot of built-in racism that I have also had to undig while going through my healing journey. And I think it's because they wanted to protect us in some way. And back in the day, you are protected if you are seen as white or have white features or just seem more appealing to the white eye. And even like going back in time and remembering, like, my aunts would tell me, like, you have to advance the race. You can't date anybody darker than you. You have to date white, like blonde hair, blue eyes. And it's so funny because now, after going through, I've never dated a black guy before. And after all of that, now I'm not really attracted to blonde hair, blue eyes. Just started to get into salt and pepper and chocolate. So I'm open. I'm open to whatever the universe is trying to give me. But when I noticed that, I didn't have self-love for myself. I was doing self-care. I was getting my hair done. I was getting it straight. I felt beautiful, but I didn't feel as beautiful with curly hair. I didn't feel as gorgeous with my natural roots. I didn't feel as beautiful and deserving, just presenting as who the fuck I am, organically, authentically. And that was the switch of like, damn, I was not having self-love. I was actually having self-hatred, and that's fucked up. And it all takes a mindset thing. I think since I did my big shop, I haven't straightened my hair since then. But the day that I do straighten it, I will personally know that it's not because I'm trying to get rid of my African background or my roots, or because I don't feel beautiful with my curly afro. I never even knew that I had curly hair. My family has been perming my hair since I was like 6. So I didn't even know I had curly hair, because all I was taught was, oh, your hair is bad. And it was just such a huge revelation for me of like, damn, that was not self-love. But now if I do straighten my hair, I know it's not coming from a place of hatred. It's coming from a place like, I just want to straighten my hair because I can want straight hair too, and I can have curly. I can have both. But I feel fucking amazing and beautiful and sexy and just that girl with either or. And that's the biggest difference between self-love and self-care. Tip number 2, setting boundaries and saying no. Baby, you need to stand on business, because setting boundaries has been the number one. Okay, it's top 5, right? Of ways that I have been able to stay sane and really be able to figure out who I am without the interference of everybody else telling me who I should be. Like, hey, I'm gonna set a boundary here and it's gonna be a no. Like, saying no, so many people are uncomfortable with this. Like, saying no just gives you more space to say yes to the things that you want, to the things that bring you joy, that bring you peace, that fills your cup. If you keep saying yes, 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 yes to things that you don't really want to do, who does that benefit? It doesn't benefit you. It benefits everybody else. And even when it does benefit other people, it doesn't benefit them the way that it could benefit. You know, like if someone asks you to do an event for them and you don't really want to, but you say yes anyways and you show up, the message that those people were supposed to receive may not come the way it should have come from you because your heart's not in it and you really didn't want to do it. You wanted to say no, you know? So baby, get comfortable with saying no. Get comfortable with setting boundaries. Get comfortable with cutting people out of your lives. Like, get comfortable with setting your own boundaries, with saying no, N-O, to people of authority, to people that have known you for years. For example, like my parent, like the situation with my mom right now, I think we've gotten to a place. From childhood, I've always been a little spicy and I have an opinion. In a Latin household, that is viewed as disrespectful. But guess what? I'm gonna say what I need to say when I need to say it. And that has always been a problem. And my mom and I always butt heads from it. But it has really helped me see, especially as an adult, like, hey, I have my own opinions. And even though my opinions are different from yours, that is okay. Our opinions don't need to be the same. Even if you're my mother, even if you're my father, a family member, like, I can still stand my ground in what I believe in. It doesn't have to be the same as yours. And I can say no to you. I remember my mom wanted me to co-sign on a house for her. I was like, hell no. And I remember it was really hard to do. I was like, 23 at the time. It was really hard to do because, again, it's hard to say no, especially to our parents. And yeah, she was so pissed. And I've done a video of story time on that, so you can find it on my channel. But she was so pissed to the point that it just ruined our relationship. And to this day, I don't really talk to my mom. So setting those boundaries is really important. And once you do set them, just know, again, you need to be working on the whole you, because once you set them, it's hard. You're gonna lose people you love. People are not gonna feel comfortable. Like that quote that they talk about, whose peace is it keeping? Is it keeping your peace or theirs? And when you set boundaries, they say no, it's disturbing their peace because they never wanted you to be peaceful. They were just thinking of themselves. So, baby, bye Felicia. Tip number 3 to becoming a strong ass sunflower, fail your way to success. Baby, I don't care who you are. You can be Michael Jordan. You can be I don't know, Denzel Washington. You can be Barack Obama for all I care. But baby, you're gonna fail your way to success. None of these men, Oprah, none of them, women, right, got to the top by being scared of failure. Like, even right now, I'm in my entrepreneur mindset right now, and I've been watching a lot of videos, and I was watching Alex Hormozy. If you are about business and about mindsets around business, go follow him and his wife, Layla. They be giving out gems for the free skis. And baby, you be a fool to just let them gems go away past you. Go check them out. They create so much free content on YouTube and their podcast. But one of the things I talked about is, so he's a millionaire and he's trying to get his company to $1 billion. And when he was being interviewed, they asked him, what do you think that you need to do now to get to that level? You're at a millionaire status right here. How are you gonna get to $1 billion with a B? And one of the things that he said is, I need to take more risks. I need to get more comfortable with taking more risks. You're not taking enough risks. How can we apply that to our lives? If you are a 5-figure income earner right now and you're trying to get to 6 figures, how can you apply more risks, or how can you apply more risks in your life to get to where you're trying to get? Because sometimes, again, you need to spend money to make money. You need to take risks to make money too. And not just about money, it's about anything in life. Like, even if you like a girl, take that L. She may say no, but hey, shit, she might say yes. What do you have to lose? Ooh, we truly need to get comfortable with failure. Tip number 4 to becoming a strong ass sunflower, learn to ask for for help. I know that we all think we're superhuman and can do all the things, and so many people have let us down in our lives that we do feel like we have to be that. And baby, that's trauma, so go to therapy. But we don't. There are people in our life that we can count on. There are people in our field that we can call upon, and they will show up and show out for us. So making sure that we ask for help. I think even when we started the podcast, we asked for help a lot because we had no idea what we were doing. And so many people pulled up. They told us what microphones to use, what they were using, what didn't work and worked for them. All of those things, whether it was behind the scenes or in front of the scenes with marketing and like how to market our brand and show up in the podcasting space. I think also, which we talk about this on the podcast all the time, it's about who's in your field. So there's about like 5 people in your field, lucky number 5, right? And you have the hummingbird, which is your cheerleader, that person that's always cheering you on to doing great, amazing things. There is the butterfly, which is the mentor, the one that guides you, the one that's been there before, and it can show you how to get to where you're trying to get, if that's where you want to go. Then there's the bee. The bee is the coach. The coach, they will fucking sting you if you're fucking up. So get it together. Everybody needs a bee in our lives. Everybody needs someone to check us when we're fucking up, when we're going down the wrong hole. And it's so funny because all the time we have to be everyone in the field for ourselves, but we also have to have it around us. And I know if you're a parent out there, you have to be all these things. You have to be the bee, because baby, don't do that. You have to be the cheerleader. It's like, you can do it. I believe in you. You have to be the mentor and guide them through whatever hardship they're going through, especially as we get older, because it's not so much as like forcing them to do it. It's more of like walking them through it. And then you have, of course, your other sunflowers, which is people in the field doing the same thing that you're doing, whether it's podcasting and YouTubing, whether it's medicine, whether it's whatever career you decide. But then there's other flowers in the field, not just sunflowers. There's gonna be roses, there's gonna be petunias, there's gonna be all types of flowers in the field. And these are all the other people that have no interest in what you got going on, but they still show up and they still support you in any way that they can. Even if I love medicine and you cannot see blood for the life of you, you would love painting, like you still show up for me. And that's what we mean by having a field of just people that show up for you. Community is so important. I just did a video on this and it's like, community is new wealth. I'm telling you, community is new wealth. And last but not least, tip number 5 to becoming a strong ass sunflower is learning to advocate for yourself and others. And the way that we set it up, it's genius. I don't know, only God could have given us this information. But just from the beginning of like self-love and self-care and really learning who you are and who you want to be and just showing up authentically, getting through that, then kind of decluttering the outside stuff by setting boundaries and saying no. Then you're like, okay, I can do it. You know, you're that little root, you're spreading out and you're like, okay, I can fail my way to success. I can keep failing and I can keep trying. And then you're in that stem, right? That stem of like, oh, this is hard. Sometimes you gotta phone a friend, ask for help. It's gonna get hard, especially if you're trying to do great things. Phone a friend, man. Tell them to pull up. And then that's when we get to that bloom moment, right? Of number 5. And that bloom moment is tied off with that harvest. And the harvest is giving back to others. So when you can advocate for yourself and really show up authentically and create space for other people to show up authentically too, you know you made it. You have made it. You are a strong ass sunflower, baby. When you can have enough perspective, enough self-awareness, enough emotional intelligence to have your opinions, have your values, and still stand with someone that has total opposite values and opinions as you, and respect their point of view and be able to communicate and be able to have a safe space for them to share their truth, you win. You win! You are a strong ass sunflower. And this whole project has been so amazing to be a part of, and I can't wait where we go from here. As you guys know, your girl's moving to Austin, Texas. And yeah, I'm just so excited what the future holds for us. But make sure that you subscribe, support the podcast. The best way to support, just pulling up for free skis and sharing our shit, liking our shit, subscribing on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast, following us on Instagram. I'll put the link below. I love you guys. Thank you so much for support. I can't wait to keep growing with you guys. The next video, we're gonna dive in to some self-love because baby, tip number 1 is big and I don't want it to go flying over your guys' head. But I'll catch you guys in the next video. I love you. Ciao.